kapatid at classmate. So for those who doesn't know my name yet, I am Christine Claire Bibilla, a BSTM1 student in University of La Salle College. So for today, I will be doing an educational vlog about the country of Mexico. So without further ado, let's get on to the video. First off, let's talk about the Mexican flag. So the Mexican flag consists of three colors, the green, white, and red. So the green symbolizes the independent movements of Mexico, while the white symbolizes the purity of Catholic faith. The red symbolizes the Spaniards who joined the quest for the independence of Mexico and the blood of national heroes. So as you can see, there's an eagle on the top of a cactus devouring a serpent. So this symbolizes the legend of the land of Mexico. So may story siya na sabi daw sa mga Mexican or Aztecs before, sinabi daw ng God sa kanila na kapag nakita daw nila sa isang spot, yung symbol na yon, it means yung land na yon ay para daw sa kanila. So the capital of Mexico is Mexico City. So Mexico City is considered as the oldest capital in Americas, which built by the Aztecs in early 1325. For the population of Mexico, they only have 127.91 million population. So before, 126 million population lang siya, so tumaas siya ng 1.91 million. Pero kinukonsider pa rin ito na mabagal na pagtaas ng population sa Mexico. Dahil alam nyo ba na ang Mexico ay kinoconsidered na 10th most populated country in the world. So unlike any other countries that have 4 seasons, Mexico only have 2 seasons, the wet and dry season. So hindi kayo mahihirapang mag-adjust sa weather sa kanila kung gusto nyong pumunta doon kasi pareho lang naman sila dito sa Pilipinas na tropical.
History. Native Mexican American first settled along what used to be the shores of shallow Lake Texcoco, present-day Mexico City in 1500 BC. By the early 1300 AD, the Aztec established roots on an island in this lake which later became the capital of Aztec Empire. The city is Tenochtitlan. In 1521, the Spanish explorer Hernan Cortes captured and razed the city, building a Spanish city in its place. The new city served as a capital, then the colony of New Spain, which extended as far south as Panama. In 1821, Mexican revolutionaries under General Agustin de Iturbide, a Spanish Creole, captured Mexico City and broke all ties with the Spanish crown. The city was occupied by the United States in 1847 during the Mexican War and by France for 4 years starting in 1862, when Maximilian, Archduke of Austria, was named Emperor of Mexico by Napoleon III. Heavy fighting ensued from 1910 to 1915, the years of Mexican Revolution. The end of revolutionary movement marked the beginning of a period of dramatic social changes which led to the creation of Mexican Constitution in 1917. Widespread land reform and nationalization of country's basic industries were achieved during 1930s. The last 60 years have been characterized by industrial expansion, rapid population growth, and political domination. In the first 6 years of 1980s, things slowed down as a result of recessionary world economy. Vast austerity and strict debt restricting measures were a direct result of that decade for the Mexican economy. In the past few years, the Mexican government has carefully tried to steer a new and prosperous Mexico in the direction of becoming a first world economy. However, and despite the efforts in allying itself as partner in trade with Canada and the United States, unexpected political and economical events in the early 1990s have conspired to delay achievement of this goal.
So for the top tourist destination, I have prepared here a 5 top tourist destination in Mexico. So for the first one is the Cancun and the Mayan Riviera. Beach on the Mayan Riviera, lying along a beautiful stretch of coastline on the Gulf of Mexico, are the resort's destination of Cancun, Playa del Carmen, and the island of Cozumel, collectively known as the Mayan Riviera. So for the top 2 is the Copper Canyon or the Mexico's Grand Canyon. One of the Mexico's most northerly states, it shares the border with the New Mexico in the US, is home to one of the country's most visited natural attraction, the stunning Copper Canyon or Barranca del Cobre, located in a region known as the Sierra Madre Occidental. The top 3 is Mexico City's Historic Center. Mexico City or Ciudad de Mexico is not only the capital of the country and the seat of government, it is also one of the country's most popular alternative travel destinations thanks to its many world-class museums, art galleries, and attractions. So for the top 4 is the Mayan Metropolis. The Mayan Metropolis is a popular day trip for those visiting Cancun and Playa del Carmen, or the Yucatan capital of Merida. The magnificent Mayan city of Chichen Itza is one of Mexico's most visited archaeological sites as well as one of the biggest and best restored. Last but not the least is the ancient fortress of Tulum. Tulum. So last but not the least is the top 5, the ancient fortress of Tulum. The ancient fortress of Tulum is famous as the only fortified Mayan settlement located on the coast. The ancient city of Tulum is one of the Yucatan Peninsula's most visited attractions. So now let's talk about the gastronomical aspects or the famous foods that can be found in Mexico. So for the top one is the taco. Taco is a traditional Mexican dish consisting of a small hand-sized corn or wheat tortilla topped with a filling. The tortilla is then folded around the filling and eaten by hand. So for the top 2 is burrito. Burrito is a dish in Mexican and Tex-Mex cuisine consisting of a flour tortilla wrapped into a sealed cylindrical shape around various ingredients. The tortilla is sometimes slightly grilled or steamed to soften it, make it more pliable, and allow it to adhere to itself when wrapped. For the top 3 of famous foods in Mexico is the fajita or fajita. Fajita in Tex-Mex and Mexican cuisine is any grilled meat that is usually served as a taco on a flour or corn tortilla. So now I will be talking about the 3 of most famous influencer in Mexico. So for the first influencer is Benito Juarez. Benito Juarez is Mexico's only indigenous president. The 19th century leader Benito Juarez is regarded as a Mexican equivalent to Abraham Lincoln, a great statesman whose achievements have echoed through the decades. So top 2 is Juan Gabriel. The late singer-songwriter Juan Gabriel, known colloquially as Juanca, became one of the most successful recording artists in Mexican history. An incredibly talented singer and composer, the singer was born into rural poverty in the western state of Michoacan. Top 3 is Frida Kahlo. The flamboyant Mexican portrait artist overcame a great many obstacles in her life. As an 18-year-old, she was involved in a fire-threatening bus accident that left her bedridden for months, ended her dream of becoming a doctor, and caused her pain throughout the rest of her life. Kahlo channeled her fear and pain into the intimate portraits that have made her a global icon. And now let's proceed to the culture of Mexico. So first off, let's talk about the Mexican festivals. So first is the Dia de Muertos. Mexican Festival Day of the Dead or Dia de Muertos as a celebration of life in actually November 1 and 2 are important, while the first is dedicated to children and is called the Day of the Innocents. The second is dedicated to people who have passed on or the Day of the Dead. So the second is Guelaguetza Festival. The streets of Oaxaca, amongst other states, are packed with colors. A spectacular vision of art, dance, and music, the annual celebration of Guelaguetza are a wonderful cultural experience, especially for tourists.
And lastly is the Las Posadas. Marking the beginning of Christmas, Las Posadas starts on December 16. Traditional songs sung by adults as well as children and a procession of children which lit candles are the main activities that are enjoyed during this season. Next of the culture is the traditional dances. I have heard the two of most famous traditional dances in Mexico. The first one is Getting That Kiss. The dance involves a male and female dancers, with the male working hard to seduce the female during the dance. And the second is Jarabe Tapatio. The Mexican hat dance originated in Jalisco, Mexico in 1924. It was named the National Dance of Mexico in an effort to bring together several different cultures together as one national identity. And lastly, of the culture of Mexico is the traditional dress. The most popular and well-known men's piece of clothing in Mexico are sarape, charro suit, sombrero, guayabero, baja jacket, and poncho. And for the women is the most popular and well-known women's piece of clothing in Mexico are huipil, kenchukmet, rebozo, Mexican skirt. So second to the last part of Mexico's educational vlog is the dining etiquettes. First is do not begin eating until the host says buen provecho. Second is Mexicans do not switch knives and fork. Knives must always be on your right hand while fork always be on your left hand. Third is always start from the outside and work your way in course by course. 4 is when not holding utensils, your hands are expected to be visible above the table. So, kailangan nakalagay yung sa table yung kamay mo kapag wala kang hawak na utensils. Dapat nakikita ito ng others na kaharap mo sa table. So, for the last is, it is considered bad form to leave the dinner party or the table. So, dapat hindi mo na aalis sa table kapag hindi pa tapos yung kainan. Business etiquettes in Mexico. So first is you must know how to speak and behave properly. Number 2 is make sure you are punctual. Hindi kagaya dito sa Pilipinas na may Filipino time. Number 3, use words when writing dates. Number 4, Mexican observes long holiday periods during Easter and Christmas. And number 5, katulad sa mga ibang bansa, ay good manners and politeness is needed in business. So let's now proceed to the trivias about Mexico. So alam naman siguro natin yung 7 wonders of the world, and Chichen Itza is one of the 7 wonders of the world. It can be found in Mexico. Number 2 is Mexicans are working the longest average hours in the world. Number 3 is home to the world's smallest volcano. So, makikita sa Mexico ang pinakamaliit na volcano sa buong mundo. Number 4, it's also the world's largest Spanish-speaking country. And lastly, number 5 is Mexico is the largest silver producer in the world. So lastly is the indigenous people of Mexico. So marami talagang indigenous people sa Mexico pero ni-wrote down ko lang dito ang tatlo sa pinakamaraming indigenous people sa Mexico. So the first one is Nahua. The Nahua people are the largest indigenous group in Mexico today. They live in villages and towns throughout central Mexico and speak at least one variant of language in the Nahua language family. The most common of which are Nahuatl and Nahuatl. These languages come from the original Aztec language, and the Nahua are the direct descendants of the Aztecs first encountered by the Spanish. Thus, the Aztecs are not a lost people at all. In fact, over 1 million Nahua people live in Mexico today. So the next one is Mixtec. Estimate of the Mixtec population indicate there are at least 500,000 Mixtec in Mexico today. The name they give themselves is Nu Sabi, meaning people of the rain. Traditionally, they practice subsistence farming of corns, beans, and wheat, as well as other types of fruits and vegetables. Unfortunately, poor soil often leaves families without enough to survive, requiring many men to work elsewhere for part of the year. However, even Mixtecs outside their home villages return for the annual celebration to honor their patron saints and to fulfill their duty of service to the community, a practice called tekyo. Finally, the Mixtecs people are best known for their textile arts, including the hupiles and intricately embroidered blouses. And lastly is the Purépeka, known as the Tarascan to the Spanish. Approximately 175,000 Purépeka live in and near the Sierra Madre Mountains. They share a strong pride in the culture and encourage children to speak the Purepeca language as well as Spanish, an endeavor made easier by Mexico's indigenous language law in 2000, which gave them indigenous languages equal status to Spanish. The Purepeca, however, are best known for their colorful clay sculpture made from locally gathered clay. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you learned a lot from this simple educational vlog about Mexico. Please subscribe and like. Bye!